I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is September 23rd, 2024, and this is a meeting of the Capital Outlay Committee. If anyone in the audience is recording or videotaping, they need to acknowledge such at this time. And I see that we have all four parties present. Carol is on Zoom. Can you hear us, Carol?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. Okay. Marlene, do we want to go down in order? Okay. So the first is DPW Main Street streetlights for $32,000.
Good evening, thanks for having me. Matt Swicki, DPW Director. We just have one request for capital for the fall town meeting, and it's $32,000 for streetlights to complete the project we did at the intersection of Main Street and Academy Drive. When that project was put in, we added the footings and the piping and the conduit to install the streetlights. At this time, we're just asking for the $32,000 to install the streetlights and the wiring, which will run from the park and be powered off the park.
Has the original work already been completed?
Everything but the lights, yes.
Everything except the lights, okay. So this is to finish off the project?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Any questions from the committee?
It wasn't a part of the original?
It was not. No.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
When you say lights, what do you mean?
They're going to be decorative lights that will light up the crosswalk. They're going to match the existing lights in the park.
Okay.
Okay. If my understanding is correct, we wait until the very end before we take votes on these?
You can do it either way. You can approve it now, or you can do it all at the end.
I'm going to do them all at the end. That way we take one vote.
That's fine.
Okay. Okay. Engineering.
Thank you.
Tim is online.
Tim, are you with us?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. All right, so what we have before you today is a request for $160,000 from the engineering department for a stormwater remediation project. This came on our list from the Buzzards Bay National Estuary Program for some of our testing. We had high hits for any of the pollutants that we look for the MS4 program. This fits a lot of goals of ours. You know, it's basically targeting water quality specifically, but also the storage volume here is undersized. We have an outfall pipe that goes directly to Eel Pond in this location and in other locations in this area, but for the most part, there's a huge watershed area that gathers here. So we're going to look to treat it with some infiltration oil grit separators as well as another infiltration bed. So we'll have a lot more storage volume. We're going to treat the water. So by the time the water gets to Eel Pond, it should be really, we're going to gather more than the first inch in this project. Any questions? Take questions.
Tim, where is Eel Pond located, please?
So Eel Pond's on the Back River watershed. It's over by where like Maryland Road is and Crump Road. So, you go past Beach Ave and Lobster Trap, you take that left. Or if you're on County Road, you could take that right to go up into that neighborhood by Millbrook.
Okay.
So Eel Pond is, it's not the healthiest water body that we have. So we're trying to target a lot of our hot outfalls that are giving us bad readings. This is one of them.
Okay, and these do eventually make it down to the shoreline?
Yeah, so we have two catch basins that capture a pretty large area. It's multiple acres. Fertilizer, dog waste, things like that. And there's an outfall that basically streamlines it straight into the Eel Pond.
Okay.
So this would cut all that off.
All right. Any questions from the committee? Carol? Okay.
I just have an overall question, which I guess would be for you. Looking at this list, it just seems huge for this time of the year. How come this stuff wasn't on the regular town meeting?
So some of these are coming up now because we've been working on studies that wrapped up over the summer. So rather than waiting until the Maytown meeting, we got some feasibility studies done and we got some reports in over the summer and are bringing them forward rather than waiting, because this is the next logical step. And some of them are really, you know, some of the equipment, it's just, it needs to go. It needs to be replaced. And it's just it's more of an urgency issue for the equipment.
I guess what I thought of was, will a special town meeting bring out as many people as a regular town meeting?
I mean, if there's
Historically.
marijuana on the warrant, I don't know.
Well, I mean, historically, we seem to have 2 special town meetings every year. I just don't know whether as many people will get to express an opinion, that's all.
I hope there's a quorum.
Okay. So where is this funding going to come from?
So, the Main Street streetlights and the Eel Pond Road drainage are recommended to be free cash.
Okay?
Do you want me to, pump out boat is recommended to be free cash, so is the wave attenuator and the Taylor's Point Marina.
Yeah.
The turnout gear is free cash. Cardiac monitors is free cash. Engine 122 is borrowing. Land acquisition is borrowing. Station 3 roof is borrowing. Community building fire alarms is free cash. C&D fire suppression is ISWIM retained earnings. Land development is ISWIM retained earnings. And the Bourne Middle School chiller is free cash.
Okay, great. That's helpful.
Yep.
Okay, pump out boat.
And we have our new DNR director, Hannah Lawrence, online.
Hannah? There she is.
Hi, good afternoon, thanks for having me. So the request for the pump out boat is a replacement boat for the 2008 Alcar that we currently have in the fleet. It is our oldest of our 2 boats. This particular boat is located in Redbrook Harbor and is required to travel back and forth from the Redbrook Harbor area to Phineas Harbor in order to fuel up as well as empty the holding tank on the boat, which adds additional stress to the boat and could cause some issues as far as the holding tank. The pump out service is a free service for folks utilizing the waterways in the town of Bourne in order to, get away from any potential illegal discharge of waste tanks. So it's definitely a vital service to make sure that we can maintain for the residents and the boaters in the town.
Okay. This is a 2008 boat? They were
This is a replacement, yes.
a replacement for the 2008. Okay. Any questions from the committee? Okay, the wave attenuator?
Correct. So next up is the wave attenuator at Monument Beach. This was last repaired in 2014, but because the location of the pier is really susceptible to any of the conditions in Buzzards Bay, it's certainly kind of taken a beating and is in disrepair at this point. The wave attenuator is vital for acting as a breakwater to help protect the infrastructure at the pier, as well as help protect any of the customers' boats that are, tied up along that floating dock behind the pier.
And what does it actually do?
Yeah, good question.
So the wave attenuator, it's, if you were to be on the water looking at the face of the pier, it almost looks like a fence, but it runs the whole length of the pier. And what it does is it breaks up the wave action. So otherwise, all of the infrastructure that's located there, or, you know, as I mentioned, customers' boats will just get that direct hits from the waves. So it can definitely cause some dangerous situations depending on, you know, any severe weather that we might get.
So this is a replacement?
Yeah, this would be a replacement. The current wave attenuator is essentially hanging off the pier. And is in disrepair. It seems to last about 10 or so years. It was replaced in 2014 last. And I believe before that was when the storms back in 2006 hit, so in 2007 was done prior to that.
Okay, and Taylor's Point Marina?
So at Taylor's Point Marina, there are several pilings and floats that need to be replaced. The piles secure the floating docks and piers of the marina, and they do have significant damage. Again, it's, you know, due to the tides, weather, storms, excessive wear and tear, which has become visible, and it can be dangerous. You know, depending on if the chains get hung up, it'll cause extensive damage to the docks if those piles are not in good condition.
So are these the pilings on the main pier or in the individual finger piers?
So they're going to be off of the main piers at the marina, and then the finger piers attached to, you know, those main docks. So there's only a few of them that are, you know, in desperate need of repair. So that is what we're looking to have replaced.
So this $30,000 is for how many individual pilings?
So part of the cost is mobilization of the pile driver barge, which is about 10 to 20,000. So it depends on the location that this barge is coming from. And then each of the piles would be about $1,500 to $2,500 per pile to replace.
So that begs the question, if we're going to pay $15,000 or $20,000 to bring up the piling machine, and are we only putting in 10 piers?
That's roughly.
I'm
the
pilings,
amount,
10
you know,
pilings?
that need to be repaired at this point.
I'm sorry?
That's about the amount at this point that, you know, desperately need to be repaired.
Okay.
You know, they certainly are not all in that condition.
Okay. So if we have 10 that desperately need repair, do we have others that are going to need to be repaired within the next year or two that it's economically more advantageous if we do them now?
Yes, likely down the line, there are some that will need to be repaired. So to answer your question, it probably would be more advantageous to take care of some of the other ones as well.
Marlene, should we,
Otherwise, you spend $20,000
to bring it back in? I mean, should we take a broader look and see if there's others that should be repaired now at the same time? I mean,
So I'm not comfortable redesigning the project on the fly here. So if this is something you want them to take back and redesign, then don't move it forward to October and they can redesign it for the next town meeting. I'm really not comfortable saying we should.
right.
Because I don't think we should take out pilings that are perfectly good.
And I agree, but if we know that there's some pilings there that are going to need to be replaced in the next 2-3 years,
I can't make that, I don't have the information to make that decision at the table. So if you don't want to move the project forward, don't say no to the project.
okay.
Yeah.
So why don't we do you want to have a discussion now, or do you want to have it at the end when we go to vote on them?
I guess, right now, we were pretty hard pressed for an answer as to any idea of how many other pilings
We don't know
are
yet.
short term.
We don't know
Wait.
the answer.
How bad are the pilings now that you were proposing to replace? Can they last another year?
So they're significantly rotted, where, you know, pieces of the actual, like the wood from the piles are starting to come apart. We actually had during this, astronomical tide event, you know, coupled with the wind event, some pretty significant tides that actually got the chains hung up on one of the piers. So it did cause some damage. So, you know, they definitely, you know, could be more of an issue if they're left. But, you know, to answer the question about how many others, you know, these are the ones that the marina manager had identified as an issue, you know, being about 10 or so.
Well, the other issue is, of course, come spring, the boats are coming back.
Right. So I'm caught in the middle here because we have about 10 that have significant damage that need to be replaced that can't wait.
I guess we should do it.
So, okay. So we'll come back to the vote at the end, but, okay, thank you. Fire Department, PPE gear? Hi, Chief.
Good afternoon, everybody. Dave Palazzi, Fire Chief. So the first thing that we're looking for is $45,000 to pick up 8 sets of structural firefighting gear and 4 sets of wildland firefighting gear. This request is tied to a SAFER grant that we have in process right now that we're awaiting FEMA to hopefully give us a successful award on that. In the event that we do not successfully get that grant, this would go away. This is just contingent upon us getting those 4 firefighters. We asked for about $1.5 million roughly from FEMA, and that would cover salaries and expenses for 3 years for these firefighters. This would be one of the costs that we would have to take on, is outfitting them their gear.
Okay, so these are for new firefighters?
Correct. Yeah.
You said 8 sets?
8 sets of structural.
Yeah.
Each one gets, because there's 4 firefighters,
Get
each
2.
firefighter gets 2, and then 1 set of wildland gear each.
Okay.
This addresses the issue that we've been all reading about the old fire gear, that this is unacceptable, right?
No,
No.
not yet. So the short answer on the PFAS is that they came out with a mandate of removing PFAS from gear, and that isn't going to take place for a few years. There's only 1 set of PFAS-free gear right now, and it isn't really great gear.
Don't let Joe wear it, please.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Joe and I are old friends.
I wouldn't admit that too much.
Okay. Any questions on the gear? Trying out gear? No. Carol? Okay. Cardiac monitors.
Okay. This next request is for about $400,000 for new cardiac monitors and also 2 Lucas tools. The monitors that we have a 10-year life. Ours are going on year 15. We've been pushing this off because we've been waiting for the new model to come out. And literally, the new model came out last month. That's why we're before you now with this. We didn't want to replace our current monitors with the same model because we knew new technology was going to be coming out. So now that they're out, we've got the request in for those.
How many monitors are we talking about?
That will be 6 monitors.
6?
Yes. We'll be replacing 4 of the Life Pack 15s, and 2 of our ambulances are running really old monitors that are older than 15 years right now.
Okay. So is this just the ambulances, or is it both the ambulances and engines?
Ambulance and 1 engine, because we have 1 engine is a license as an ALS ambulance. So that will cover all of our ambulances, including the engine.
Okay, and where are the other 3 going?
We have 5 fully stocked ambulances right now.
5 ambulances in one
And
truck.
the engine.
Okay. All right.
The Lucases, we have 2 ambulances currently that do not have those. And what those are, it's a machine that will do the cardiac compressions so that in the back of an ambulance, we're not doing compressions bouncing around. It's more effective. It's more efficient CPR. So currently, if one of our ambulances goes down, we have to move the Lucas from one to the other. This will have, all of our ambulances will be stocked with one.
Okay.
This would cover the installation of the new monitors too.
That's everything associated with them. Yeah, all the costs, the mounts, the batteries, everything. Yeah.
So I think we had this discussion last year, either here or at the FinCom, about the number of ambulances. Do you anticipate that staying the same going forward? Or when the new ambulances come in?
We're gonna keep 6 and 1 mechanical spare. We have one that's just a box, nothing in it. So
Yeah.
if a bunch of our ambulances go down, we can take equipment from one and put it into that. So I don't anticipate increasing the number of ambulances right now.
The
Okay.
new ambulances have been in service for a while.
Okay. So they've already arrived?
Yeah, last spring?
Yes.
Last winter? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're going to continually, the town is going to continually run with six active ambulances?
Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, one of those is an engine.
Right.
Yes.
So what do you have, 2 at each fire station?
We have 2 in the south side, 2 in Sagamore, 1 in Buzzards Bay, and then the engine that runs as an ambulance is in Buzzards Bay. And like I said, we have a 7th box that is just a box. It's got a temporary license that we only initiate if.
Okay. Were these cardiac monitors on the department's original capital, like 5-year capital plan?
They've been on for at least 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and we just, because we didn't want to replace them with the same thing.
Yeah.
We've just been pushing it back ourselves, so we've
Okay.
never brought it forward. But
I'm
it's
just-
been on the plan.
I haven't seen a 5-year plan for any of the departments. Have you seen one, Tom? No, Joe?
Not for this town meeting. It was in the book for May.
For May?
Yep.
Okay, then I'll look there.
Yep.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yep.
I suppose you want to talk about the engine, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, it's only 1.27.
So, engine 122 is a 1994 engine. And similar to the monitors, we've been pushing this back. It's been kind of on our list to do. Part of it was we didn't want to get it and not have a place to put it, because it's one of the ones that's on the south side. But with the anticipation that we're going to be hopefully getting a new station, plus we've redesigned our engine a little bit to fit into, even if something happens and we don't get the new station anytime soon, this new engine would fit in Monument Beach. We designed it that way. It's similar to the 2 we have run frontline now, but it would fit in there as well. And these are a 3-year build. So once we say, okay, yes, we're buying this, I'm not going to get it for 3 years anyway.
Okay,
So,
wow.
So what I will say is that the fire department is currently in the running for a grant, significant grant, about $900,000
of the federal share.
for, that can be used towards the purchase of an engine. Now, there's an option here that the town needs to consider. We can either order 1 engine to show up in 3 years and offset the 1.27 million with the amount of the grant, or for slightly more, so for about $1.4 million of town money and the grant, the town can order 2 engines to show up in 3 years, because by the time 3 years rolls around, you'll be looking at needing another engine at that time anyway. So there is a significant grant. Obviously, if the town is not successful in receiving the grant award, we're gonna move forward with the request for 1
Okay.
being purchased as a borrowing article. But I want to put that on the table and be as clear as possible that if the town is successful with the grant, it may make more sense to get two in line at the factory.
And where are these engines gonna go, chief?
One will be south side and one will be south side, one will be north side.
Will these engines fit into the existing buildings?
Yes. Yes.
I've heard so many horror stories about buying an engine and then it doesn't fit through the door or
So,
something.
yes, the ones we run in Buzzards Bay and Sagamore right now fit into Monument Beach. It's tight. The design, we've modified them, not because of the Monument Beach thing, but just because of the way we operate. We've modified it, and it's a little bit shorter, which was where we had the issue. Height-wise, it's not an issue. So, and like I said, in 3 years, maybe we'll have a new station to put it in, so it won't be an issue. But if not, it would fit in Monument Beach.
How confident are you in the grant?
It's a national grant. We're competing against every fire department in the country. So regardless, we need to request one.
Right.
And then the decision is, if we are successful with the grant, which we should know by Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So we'll know before town meeting.
So, are you recommending that we, for consideration purposes, that we increase this amount to 1.4?
I'm not, for right now, for today, given what we know
Right.
as a certainty, I suggest you move forward with the one engine at 1.27 million. If we're successful with the grant, we'll come back to you and tell you what exactly we're looking for. I just want you to know that the potential's out there. So if we come back and talk to you in a week or two, you're not like, well, why didn't you say anything when we met last time? But for right now, we do not have the grant. We cannot promise that. However, I just wanted to let you know that it's possible that we may be coming back to talk about this some more. But for right now, we're asking for one engine for 1.27.
Okay. Any questions from the board? It's a 30-year-old truck.
I have one, Wayne.
Yes, Carol?
Chief, did you say that there is one that is stationed at Monument Beach, right?
The engine that we are replacing right now is actually still at Barlow's Landing Road in Pecasset. That's the 1994 truck is over there. Yeah. But with that,
I was wondering, because Monument Beach, everything has to be stored outside, right?
nope, the only thing that's stored outside right now is the pickup truck. The engine now
Okay.
fits in there.
The
And
engine
we would
fits in,
replace,
okay.
yeah, we'd replace the one that's in Pecasset. We'd move the one that's in Monument Beach to Pecasset and run it there.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, what do you do with the old one? 3 years from now?
That one, I don't even know if there'd be a muni bid.
They usually
maybe.
get auctioned.
Yeah,
Okay.
that one's sad. The other one that we'd be replacing, I believe we could get something for.
There are a lot
Yep.
of strange people out here who collect different things, so it might go to an auction.
My
Yeah.
wife would kill me if I brought it home.
They usually, if we don't get any trade-in value, we usually auction them.
Okay. The next item is land acquisition for Clay Pond Road for a new fire station.
So I'll start with that one. So we issued yet another RFP for site selection, and we had some respondents with some potentially usable land this time around. One of which, there is, in your backup information, there's an appraisal for the property showing that it's worth $1.5 million as appraised. And there's a fit plan by the architect showing that a new station can be sited on this property without having to cut back on any of the program. So the apparatus bay can be, we don't have to cut any space out of the apparatus bay. It's a two-story station. We can fit all of the bunk rooms that are necessary for future growth in the town. So we're comfortable with saying that this is a site that we can fit a station on, and that it's right in the middle, kind of the response time area that we were looking at. It's not in the Water Resource Protection District, and it's not fronting on MacArthur Boulevard, so we don't have to worry about signalizing and stopping traffic. So it's a good location. The select board has authorized me to negotiate with the property owner. There is a draft PNS under review. We'll be conducting perk tests there tomorrow. We're not anticipating any problems, but we're doing our due diligence. And we're recommending that the town move forward and acquire this property for general municipal purposes, with the idea of then moving into design development for putting a fire station there.
Okay, has a preliminary plan been placed over the plot to make sure that we can?
There's a test fit in your packet, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm on
Yep.
that page. And how many bays are we looking at here?
This is a 4 double bay station. It is not a drive-through station, but everything will be backed in and stacked 2 deep, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. Basically, I think you're talking about Spencer Gardens, right?
Yes, 171 Clay Pond Road is the old Spencer Gardens.
I read recently where we've evidently have negotiated a price for property up on County Road that used to be by the old Barnstable Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the station not going there?
It's outside of the response time area. It's too far south.
I don't understand that because the fire department responded from Barlow's Landing Road for years. The difference between there and there is probably a quarter to a half a mile at the most.
And when the department was responding from Barlow's Landing, it was a 2-station model on the south side. There's Monument Beach and there's Barlow's Landing. For them to cover the area south of the canal with 1 station, it can't be that far south. Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
No, I think that pretty much sums it up, because a lot of our calls are in that Bourne Village area.
So if we were rebuilding 2 stations, it would be fine, but because we're centralizing it into 1 station, too many of the response time calls, so the town did a response time study, too many of the calls are too far north to get
I don't
there.
want to disagree with your thinking on this, but I've been living in Pocasset for a long time, and I can't remember when we really were running 2 stations. I mean, the station in Monument Beach has not been used until they closed Pocasset for a long time. My other question is, that being the case, that we prefer to have that down on Clay Pond Road, why are we buying the property on County Road?
The select board negotiated that after receiving authority from town meeting.
So there's a rationale for wanting that property. I don't understand it, that's all.
Yep, the select board decided to move forward with purchasing that property as well.
And then to do what with it?
I don't have a master plan for that property.
It's town property that down the road, the town may decide what they want to put there. We all wanted it to go to the town instead of to be open up to private development.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I'll tell you, I can't agree with it, but I mean, $750,000 for property that we may or may not someday think of what we're gonna do with it. Sounds like a lot of money to me, but
You're talking about the state-owned property.
I'm talking about this, no, this is, it's actually,
County owned.
owned,
Ca-
it's
county
owned
owned.
by the county.
County-owned property, right.
And not, my position has always been, the county should have given it to the town of Bourne a long time ago. There was only one town in the entire Cape that would take the jail for them, but,
It would have been nice if they had done that. It really would have been nice, but.
it should have been done that, but,
Yeah, it didn't go that way, so the county was selling it. They wanted to dispose of that property, so.
I understand
it was
that,
our chance.
but I'm willing to bet that there wasn't another buyer.
My only concern is a fire station property tonight.
I understand that.
And that's what I want to get.
Okay, you answered my questions.
So,
Wayne, the FIT plan, did you find it? It's on page 235 in the PDF.
okay, I can do it this way, 235. You're testing my ability, my technical ability here. Okay, I see it.
All right.
Okay.
If the FIT plan has been fitted, then
Yeah. All right, so there's no need for the second parcel?
No,
Okay.
no, we are moving forward with just 171 Clay Pond Road. That's the request.
Now, are we going to need any variances on this property? Or-
We will be seeking a side yard setback variance.
uh-oh, that comes back to me again.
So, so are you going to have access to the property in the back, chief?
There will be there will be a driveway. We're not using the easement from the neighbor. Everything is staying on the property.
Okay.
There will be access for parking in the rear. That's not necessarily apparatus access, that's for
Employee?
firefighter parking.
Right. So is that up along the east side of the building?
Yes. West side of the building.
Huh?
West,
West side, the
West
back
side.
of the building.
yeah.
North, so the diagram is oriented with the north is up,
That's north,
yes.
and that's north.
East goes towards Falmouth.
Right.
They're not gonna park there.
No, no.
No, on the plan, the driveway and the parking area for firefighters is at the back of the building, which is to the north of the building.
Right. And so they're going to come up along this gray area?
Yes.
All right. And that additional piece of property is this driveway over here that we don't need?
Do you see the red and blue lines?
Yes.
Okay, that's essentially the lot line. We haven't surveyed it yet, but those red and blue lines are showing the lot line.
Okay.
So, the green is the usable area that we're looking at. So everything is staying on the parcel for 171.
Okay.
So there's the main apron directly loading off of Clay Pond Road.
Yes.
And then there's a driveway running along the side of the station to parking in the rear for the firefighters.
On the left side of the building?
Yes.
Okay. And how many, that looks like a small parking lot, how many cars are you gonna be able to park up in the back there, or vehicles?
We have to refine the
Okay.
plans,
All
but
right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can get to it.
this is just a fit plan.
Right, barely, but, okay. All right, any questions? Okay, I think you're off the hook.
Sorta.
Oh, no, you go, yeah, you're trying to slide one more in. All right, your new roof.
So I'm actually going to start for that one too. At the May 2023 town meeting, we asked for funds to do some roof investigation, and preliminary design work for some leaking roofs, one of which is at Fire Station 3. And we've since done that. Your backup material includes the leak test report that was completed over this past summer with an opinion of cost. The station, this is the original roof to the station. The town has attempted to repair it a number of times in the past. Those repairs are really not effective.
Is this the station up the street here?
Station 3 is the Sagamore Beach Fire Station.
Really?
Yep. So, it is in need of immediate attention. Rather than putting significant money into repairs that are not going to buy you significant life, I'm recommending that we do the replacement of the roof, along with the masonry repairs that are necessary at the parapet and the top of the wall, at the top of the roof and wall connection.
Okay. Any questions?
I guess it was a good buy from the state of Massachusetts, but beginning to question it, but
It's a difficult station, to be honest with you. It is not well designed and it's very difficult to operate. Frankly, it was not a good deal.
Right. Okay. Smoke alarms? No?
Do you want me to handle that one? Sure.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. I think you're off the hook for the moment.
So the smoke alarms in this building, in the community building, are beyond its useful life. And so we received quotes, and this would also include contingency for about like 10% of the quote. So we're asking for $60,000. That would replace all of the hardware, including the pulls, the smoke detectors, heat detectors, and the control panels. We have 2 to 3 panels that can be wonky at any time in this building, and it throws not just our monitoring company off, but our fire department has to respond on any given time. And we had one a couple of weeks ago where the alarms went off. So that's what this request is for.
How old is this building?
Over 20 years?
Over 20?
oh, easily.
Okay. And are these the original alarms that are in here?
Yes.
Trying to remember when I can remember the building it, and I remember the old one, but
Any questions from the committee on this?
gotta have smoke alarms.
Okay. ISWIM. Mr. Barrett loves to come before the committee.
Good evening, folks. My name is Dan Barrett. I'm the General Manager of the Integrated Solid Waste Management Facility. Thank you all for entertaining our request this evening. We're going to be looking for repairs to our construction, demolition, transfer station fire suppression system. One of the header lines that feeds literally all the sprinklers, it's galvanized pipe, and it's been rotting over the last few years. Frankly, a little earlier than I thought it would, but it's becoming problematic. It's starting to lose air. It's a dry system because the transfer station isn't heated. So it bleeds air, and then it sends out alarms to us first. We can get there and usually take care of it before it lets the fire department know. So we want to get that repaired, obviously, quickly. Bit of a heartache for us is that, in the near future, that building's going to have to move, but we cannot be without fire suppression in that building. It impacts the fire suppression system down the line as well. So that's a $50,000 repair. We've known about it waiting for this town meeting since probably about July. We started to see the pipes. We didn't anticipate they would be that bad off. The engineer that built the system and maintains it for us noticed that. He said, hey, this is typical in this type of system. So we hope that moving forward, even though the station will be replaced fairly quickly, we're going to try to build in some preventive measures. Talking to our pyrotechnic engineer, he said there's a few things that we can do differently.
And how old are these pipes now?
We built that station in 2009, 15 years, 16 years. But I was hoping for a little bit longer.
What is the normal life expectancy of those pipes?
That I don't know. A lot of it, the answer I got from the pyrotechnic group was it depends. Some things that I said, well, what can we do differently going forward? Simple things like putting an air dryer on the compressor that maintains pressure in that system. Obviously, the pitch on the pipes might not quite be right when that system goes, and I'm talking these guys' business now, but when that system goes, we open, when it's done and repaired or whatever caused the go, I guess, we open all the valves and drain it as best we can. We don't leave it, just water in it for obvious reasons, but.
Okay. Any questions from the committee on fire suppression? Okay, land development.
Land development. Boy, I'll tell you, I see Marlene smiling over there. My esteemed colleague, Mr. Goddard, has headed this project for 8 years. We've been after this land. We had to buy it in 2 sections. When we first started going after it, it was owned by the same person. So we've been up and down with this particular piece of land for quite a while. It's the remaining piece of land that we need to fully optimize the entire site. That's what MEPA asked us to do. By purchasing this 11 acres of land, we now have enough to mitigate the 8 that you see up there. I don't know if you folks go up there very often, but you'll notice at the end of the drop-off center, there's an area that's been cleared. That was the first 6.5 acre parcel. It's a 1.5 to 1 mitigation ratio, so we were able to develop 4.3 acres. The clock's ticking on us. People think I'm nuts when I tell them that, but being around the business for a long time, we have about 3.5 to 4 years to fill on the original footprint, what we call the vertical expansion. And if we need to start digging, in order to get to that land, we have to, or in order to keep capacity airspace, we have to move our offices so that we can start digging right where our offices are sitting. And then shortly after that, the C&D transfer station is going to have to move as well. That's why you're going to see my colleague Asa Mintz here later on talking a little bit about the development of that, or that'll be with the FinCom, I guess. But we're looking to build an office and garage up there as well. So we need to get the office and garage built so that we can move. And in order to do that, we have to acquire this land so we can clear the rest of it so that we can move our operations out there and start excavating. We got about 2 years to get that done.
So, and this parcel here is separate from that 6. So this is future expansion.
This is, the plan for this 12-acre parcel, I call it, to the very south of the facilities, to move all the, what I call the hard infrastructure, the real property. For example, the transfer station, I guess I'm getting old, so this will be the first landfill that I've ever actually gotten to the end of where we could actually build a building. My entire career has been in trailers, so this will be something new. I probably won't make it. I'll be retired by then when we get it built. But yes, we kind of know we can't expand any further to the south. We know that. So we're now locating the permanent infrastructure where it's going to be permanently forever. As we do that, we're keeping in mind that the goal is to keep ISWIM operational beyond closure of the landfill. So in 20, 25 years from now, when the landfill's approaching closure, we'll have a state-of-the-art transfer station out there ready to go to pick up the slack from the existing landfill operation.
Okay.
20 or 25 years, it has that kind of a length?
Yeah, we're looking at like 20, we go on what we're doing now, the way that we're filling, and that's one of the questions in the capital project request. What could shorten or lengthen the life of this? What could make this effective life last? A lot of it depends on what we're landfilling with. Right now, we're landfilling with ash. It's dense, doesn't take up as much room. We are taking some MSW. If we were to go all MSW, it would take up more room, but we figured out how much we need to keep the revenue flowing at the level it is now. So in other words, a couple of years ago, I finished up the last look at that, and it was like 160,000 tons at X number of dollars. So instead of taking 219,000 tons of ash, we take 160,000, take up about the same amount of room. We're trying to keep in mind how to keep the place alive as long as we can at the revenue generation that we need to keep the town.
Some of us don't care about 25 years from now.
Others of us do.
Yes. Yeah. I'm just worried about getting the fire station built while I'm still alive, you know? All right. Any questions on the land? Ice one. Thank you, Mr. Barrett.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Geitz? School Department?
Hi, everybody. Jordan Geis, Business Director, Bourne Public Schools. The capital request before you is a $280,000 request to replace the chiller at Bourne Middle School, which failed last spring. The chiller feeds the front offices, the administration office, the media center, and a large classroom and the tech storage office room at the middle school. It's 25 years old. Its useful life is 25 years. Sometimes they're right, I guess. Not always, but sometimes it's good.
Oh, gosh.
I know it's hard to imagine that school's that old, right?
It's hard.
I know. The timeline is.
But I know it very well.
Yeah.
25 years. Wow.
I know. The timeline would be for next summer to get the unit installed. That price includes design and removal of the old unit and installation. So what we got from Train was about $255,000. I'm requesting 280 because it was several months ago, and a little bit of contingency is in there as well.
Okay. So this will be in place for the beginning of next summer?
That's what we're hoping. Yep. Based off lead times, depending on which units you go with, could be 6 months, 7 months, but
Now,
that's why.
is this area of the school the administration offices, or is it classroom area?
No.
So this unit chills the front office when you first walk in, the big open area, the administrative offices, the library, and that's really our main concern because of the books in there. We've got to keep it dry. The chiller helps dry out the air, obviously.
Right.
We ran dehumidifiers all last summer to make sure the books didn't get moldy.
Did you say there was another room too?
Yep, it does. There's a large classroom that it also feeds into, and a tech storage office space, as well as the media center and library.
Any questions? This is the same chiller that we had a discussion last year on?
Correct. That was to
CPC?
replace the compressor
Right.
that failed. But then,
And we put it forward?
yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any discussion from the committee on that one? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna take a vote, and you wanna vote on each one individually or as a group?
However you want to do it, if there's anything you don't want to approve or recommend, I should say, you can split it out. It's totally up to you.
So does anybody have any concerns about any one of these items?
I'm studying.
I do have a concern about the Taylor's Point Marina, spending $20,000 to bring the piling machine here, and then only spending $10,000 on the pilings. However, the presentation was that some of these require immediate replacement because of damage, and we certainly can't risk, for $10,000, we can't risk the damage to the building or any of the vessels that are there. We're talking about millions of dollars worth of vessels there. So, I guess for comment period, maybe, I don't know what else the director has in line for other capital projects, but, if possibly we could take a look at some of the long-term the other pilings there and make it worthwhile really getting the machine in here. That's my only suggestion on that one. Any of the others, I think they're all pretty straight. I mean, we've had discussion on some of these before. We knew that they were coming up. I don't see anything that I have heartburn about. No? No? Okay, so.
I'm looking at the list,
Okay,
and,
you keep looking at that list for a minute. I'm just gonna ask a question.
Okay.
Do we have, I see that there's no minutes on this agenda, and we've had at least 2 or 3 meetings that no minutes have been approved. It was, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you will, was your office gonna do the minutes for this board?
We typically do not do, yeah.
I know you typically don't.
Yeah, we
But I thought we had a discussion that because you had a unique way that you wanted the capital outlay minutes done, that somebody there was gonna do them, no?
Does this group have a clerk?
No. No, we don't have a clerk. I mean, if we had to, I could go back over the televised and come up with some minutes, but I just don't want to get too far behind on the
Yeah.
minutes.
This is probably a conversation to give Kathleen a call,
Okay,
and figure out, I don't remember the TA office doing minutes for this group, but why don't you give Kathleen a call and you and her can kind of work through that.
okay,
Yeah.
great.
I know when Don was the chairman, he ended up doing the minutes
Himself.
himself, yes.
I feel that something's coming my way.
Well,
but-
Volunteering.
All right,
we really haven't discussed how it ought to be taken care of, but it's just kind of been left.
Right.
So I do think you need to clarify it.
I knew I brought along Tom for a reason.
I'm not volunteering.
All right. Did you find anything, Doctor?
Well, I think I made my points. I really do think that those of us who live on the other side of the canal need a fire station.
Yes.
And it's way overdue, and when I see some of the other things that we've spent money on, to me, this is a much higher priority than some of the other things.
Right.
I'll go along with the list, but I made my points.
I think your main point was about a piece of property that's not even on this list.
That's correct.
Okay. So that's how, I just want to make that clear.
Well,
All right.
okay.
Okay. So let's try to do this in one vote if we can. Would someone?
Move to approve all before us.
Okay, we have a motion to approve all of the items on this list. Do I have a second? Second by Carol?
We want Carol to second that because she's been working hard on this fire station for a long time.
Absolutely. Okay, we have to take a roll call vote because it's on Zoom. Tom made the motion, Carol second. Okay. All those in favor? Carol?
Aye.
Tom?
Yes.
Doctor?
Aye.
And I am also an aye. All right. Now, also in your packet that I had sent you is a letter about, from Mr. Barry Johnson, making a request to have another meeting. My understanding is that this request was put in past the deadline for the original applications.
Right, yes. So when this meeting was posted before that was received.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think my problem is that it's still, that the two items that he's talking about are still going to go before the Board of Selectmen.
They will. They are, right, the CPC articles, correct.
Right. So if they go before the Board of Selectmen, and the Board of Selectmen recommend to put one of those items on the town meeting, the special town meeting, we have to have a meeting because we have to make a recommendation, one way or the other, on these two items. So,
I read them both. Gotta be honest with you, I don't understand what they are, but.
right, well, they'd have to come before us. So the question is, do you want to just schedule a meeting now with that committee? And
Well, Barry was suggesting September 30th,
that's next Monday night.
right? And there was a reason for it. The finance committee meets
Meets-
after that.
I think the next day, on Tuesday?
The finance committee meets on next Monday.
Oh, no, the 30th. Okay,
Tuesday is select.
right, okay. So do we want to have a quick meeting next Monday to review these two articles?
I think we ought to schedule it, and with the idea that we may have to have it, so.
I would rather do that than try to have a meeting to go over this the night of town meeting,
Right. Me too.
okay?
Yep.
Okay, so we have a finance committee meeting next Monday night also, correct?
Yes.
You want to do it at 6 o'clock, right before that meeting, or is 5 better for you?
5 is better for me, yes.
Whatever.
5 is better for me.
Okay,
But that means we have to get this posted, correct?
yeah,
If you can draft it up and
Yep.
send it to Kathleen, she
Okay.
can help you post it.
okay,
Okay.
I'll do that.
I'm ready to make the big motion, and we adjourn.
Hold on one second. Okay, you can make that motion.
I move that we adjourn.
Okay.
Is there something else?
Yeah, well, no, just, I was, we don't need a motion to schedule the next meeting. I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, right. So I intend to schedule a meeting for next Monday night, 5 PM, for the Community Preservation Funds, all right? And it will get that, that way we don't have to worry about it right before the town meeting. Okay, we'll take a vote. Carol?
Aye. This is to adjourn?
Yes, to adjourn.
Okay, aye.
John?
Aye.
Do you need a second for that?
Yeah, okay, so we need, and you seconded?
Second, yes.
Okay, Tom seconded. Carol? Aye.
Vote again? Aye.
Yeah, aye.
Aye.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Unanimous. Thank you, everybody.